What if I told you that your supermarket bill isn't just a food expense? It's a financial decision you make dozens of times every month. And the difference between spending $400 a month and $300 a month isn't necessarily eating less. It can come down to understanding unit prices, discounts, shopping frequency, food waste, store pricing psychology, and a little financial math. Because supermarkets have spent decades learning one thing incredibly well: how to make you spend more than you planned. You walk in for milk and eggs, and somehow walk out with snacks, a special deal, a family-size package you didn't need, and a receipt that looks like a small mortgage payment. But here's the exciting part. You don't need extreme couponing. You don't need to visit 5 stores every weekend. And you definitely don't need to sacrifice everything you enjoy. With a few simple financial formulas, a typical household can potentially identify hundreds, and in some cases thousands, of dollars in annual savings. And the first trick is hiding in a number most shoppers completely ignore: the unit price. Imagine you see 2 bottles of laundry detergent. Bottle A costs $9. Bottle B costs $12. Which one is cheaper? Easy answer: the $9 bottle. Except maybe not. What if bottle A contains 50 ounces and bottle B contains 100 ounces? Suddenly, the $12 bottle is actually dramatically cheaper per ounce. This is where financial math beats supermarket marketing. Instead of asking, "What does this package cost?" ask, "What am I paying for each ounce, pound, count, or serving?" The formula is simple. Unit price equals total price divided by quantity. So if a package costs $6 and contains 12 ounces, $6 divided by 12 equals 50 cents per ounce. Now compare that with another package costing $5 for 8 ounces. That's about 63 cents per ounce. The cheaper looking package is actually more expensive. And supermarkets know that shoppers are busy. They know most people look at the big number, not the tiny unit price number hiding underneath. So here's your first rule: never compare packages. Compare unit prices. And this gets even more powerful when you shop for household staples every week. If you save just $3 on average across 5 purchases each week, that's $3 times 5 by 52. $780 a year. Not bad for reading a tiny number on a shelf tag. But unit pricing is only the beginning, because there's another supermarket trick that can quietly destroy your savings. Walk into almost any supermarket and you'll see it. Sale, 50% off, buy one, get one, limited time, special value. Your brain immediately thinks, "I'm saving money." But there's a problem. You can't save money by buying something you never needed. You can only spend less than you otherwise would have spent. Suppose a product normally costs $5. The store advertises it for $3. Congratulations, you saved $2. Except you only bought it because it was on sale. So your bank account didn't gain $2. It lost $3. That's the difference between discount math and financial math. Here's a simple rule. Before buying a sale item, ask 3 questions. Would I buy this at full price? Will I actually use it? Would I have purchased it this week anyway? If the answer is no, the discount may be irrelevant. And there's a deeper psychological trick happening here. When you see 50% OFF, your brain focuses on the percentage instead of the final dollar amount. But your bank account doesn't care about percentages. It cares about dollars. That brings us to a powerful concept: opportunity cost. Suppose you walk into the supermarket and spend an extra $10 every week on things you didn't originally plan to buy. $10 doesn't feel like much. That's exactly why it works. But watch what happens over a year. $10 times 52 weeks. $520. That random snack, that extra drink, that impulse purchase, that "I might need this later." Together, they become more than $500. And if you're spending an extra $20 per week, that becomes $1,040 a year. This is where personal finance becomes interesting. Small decisions don't stay small when repeated. A $5 decision once is nothing. A $5 decision every week for 10 years is $2,600. So instead of asking, "Is this only $5?" ask, "Would I willingly spend $260 on this over the next year?" That question changes your behavior because now you're seeing the annualized cost. And there's another major expense hiding inside your grocery bill, one you literally throw into the trash. Let's say your household spends $150 every week on groceries. That's $150 times 52, $7,800 per year. Now imagine that 10% of those groceries are wasted. That's approximately $780 thrown away every year. And that's before considering the time and energy spent buying the food. The problem is usually not dramatic waste. It's small waste. Half a container of berries, a forgotten bag of spinach, leftovers sitting in the refrigerator, bread that becomes stale, a sauce purchased for one recipe and never used again. Each individual item feels insignificant. Together, they become a financial leak. So here's a simple financial metric. Food waste rate equals value of food thrown away divided by grocery spending. If you spend $800 a month and throw away approximately $80 worth of food, your waste rate is 10%. Reducing that to 5% could potentially save around $40 every month. That's nearly $480 per year. And notice what happened. We didn't reduce the quality of your diet. We simply stopped buying food twice. Once at the supermarket, and once again when the original food went into the trash. But now comes one of the biggest opportunities of all. How often you shop. Here's a question. Why does a supermarket trip rarely cost exactly what you planned? You go in for 3 things. You leave with 12. Sound familiar? That's because every additional trip creates another opportunity for an impulse purchase. Suppose your average unplanned spending per trip is just $8. If you make 3 unnecessary trips every month, that's $8 times 3 by 12, $288 per year. And the solution isn't necessarily never go shopping. It's to reduce unnecessary trips. Instead of running to the supermarket every time you remember one missing item, create a list, keep a running inventory, plan meals around what you already have, and establish a shopping schedule. This creates something powerful. Friction. When buying something requires a little more planning, impulse purchases become less likely. But there's a second mathematical advantage. If you plan your meals before shopping, you can buy ingredients that overlap. For example, chicken can become tacos one night, a rice bowl another night, and a salad later in the week. One ingredient, multiple meals. That's not just meal planning. That's asset utilization. You're getting more value from the same purchase. And now we can combine everything we've learned. Let's build a realistic example. Suppose a household finds 4 areas where money is leaking. First, unit price optimization. Save approximately $10 per week. That's $10 times 52 equals $520. Second, impulse purchases. Reduce unnecessary spending by $10 per week. That's another $520. Third, food waste. Reduce wasted groceries by $40 per month. That's $40 times 12 equals $480. Fourth, unnecessary shopping trips and better planning. Save another $10 per week. That's $520. Add them together. $520 plus $520 plus $480 plus $520. $2,040 per year. There it is, more than $2,000. And remember, This isn't a promise that every household will save exactly $2,040. Your actual number depends on your grocery budget, household size, location, shopping habits, and how much waste or impulse spending you currently have. But that's not the point. The point is that small financial improvements compound. You don't need one magical $2,000 coupon. You need dozens of small decisions that each make economic sense. And now comes the strategy supermarkets absolutely don't want you to think about. Here's the pattern. Supermarkets want to increase three things: how much you buy, how often you buy, and how much you spend per visit. Your goal is almost the opposite. You want to increase value per dollar, food actually consumed, and purchases that were planned. That doesn't mean supermarkets are the enemy. They're businesses. Their job is to maximize revenue and profit. Your job is to maximize the value you receive for your money. That's why financial thinking is so powerful. You stop asking, is this a good deal? And start asking, is this a good investment of my money? You stop asking, is this package cheaper? And start asking, what is the cost per unit? You stop asking, how much did I save? And start asking, how much did I actually spend? That mental shift is worth more than any coupon. So here's the challenge. For your next 4 grocery trips, track 5 numbers. Number 1, total spending. Number 2, impulse purchases. Number 3, sale purchases you didn't originally plan to buy. Number 4, estimated food waste. And number 5, cost per useful unit. At the end of the month, do the math. You may discover something surprising. The biggest savings opportunity may not be where you expected. Maybe your expensive problem isn't groceries. Maybe it's food waste. Maybe it's impulse purchases. Maybe it's buying premium brands when comparable alternatives exist. Maybe it's shopping without a plan. The important thing is to measure it, because what gets measured gets managed. And that's the real lesson. Saving $2,000 isn't about becoming obsessed with pennies. It's about understanding that every recurring expense is a business decision. And once you start looking at your grocery bill like a financial analyst, the supermarket starts looking very different. Think about this. If you save $2,000 every year, that's $10,000 over 5 years, $20,000 over 10 years. And if some of that money is redirected toward debt repayment, emergency savings, or long-term investing, the ultimate value can become much larger. That's why personal wealth isn't always created by making more money. Sometimes it begins by stopping money from quietly leaving your hands. The supermarket may be designed to make you spend more, but your financial life doesn't have to be. So next time you walk through those automatic doors, don't just be a shopper, be the analyst. Compare the unit price. Ignore the artificial urgency. Question the deal. Reduce waste. Limit impulse purchases. And calculate the annual cost of small decisions. Because the difference between financial stress and financial freedom can sometimes begin with something as ordinary as a grocery receipt. And if you enjoyed this financial strategy breakdown, don't stop here. On the end screen, watch our next video about the forbidden business model, how Costco secretly makes billions. Because once you understand how businesses use psychology and financial math to influence your spending, you can start using those same principles to make smarter decisions with your own money. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.